Okay, so this is out of my 93 Crown Victoria, and the odometer stopped working last year. The speedometer works just fine, and I decided this year I would do some research and tear the dash apart and take this apart. I'd watched enough videos that I felt comfortable taking this apart. Mostly Chris Fix, he had a really good way on I think it was a 96 Mustang that he tore into. Very similar dash layout where these just pop right out. But anyway, this video is not really about going into tearing the dash apart or taking this apart. It's really to kind of show that most, and in fact all the videos I found out there show where the odometer stops working on these cars, but the speedo works, that it's a gear that's gone bad. And let me grab this gear right here. So this little tiny gear right here, this piece right here spins on the inside, and this outer piece is what actually turns. So let me wipe my hands off from, if we look inside of here, if I can get an angle in there, maybe back in there, you'll see way back in there, see if I can focus even more in there. That's that outer tooth that you see right here. It's a different color because this piece I replaced. But it turns, let's come over here, some bigger teeth that you'll see, whoops, right down there. Turns that bigger tooth, and it turns two separate teeth, the one that runs the trip and then one that actually runs the odometer. Anyway, the screws, this right here and the other one down there, these little pieces right here that stick out, they're kind of everywhere. Let me pause and we'll flip this over. If you look, the bulbs line up right behind it. See, there's a, how can I see? There's a bulb that lines up behind that one. There's a bulb there and a bulb there. It actually casts the light through this plastic. So my point in bringing that up is, hang on, the screw down there, you can't get to. So I thought, I'm going to have to cut that thing off, but I didn't smartly. I would have made a big mistake if I had. I just drilled a hole so I could get that screw out to get this motor. Now, if you look in here, there's the odometer. This motor right here turns the speedometer. And a lot of the videos on the internet right now have another motor that faces the same direction over here with gears that turn it and transfer the motion to the odometer. That's not the case with this one. Of course, mine has to be different. This motor is side mounted and it turns a gear. You can kind of see in there, right there, you'll see the outer teeth that's part of this plastic housing. Actually, let's just pause and we'll open this up. Okay, so I took the screws out right there, and now we can see in there a little better. I'm not going to open this up too much because it took me a minute to get these gears set. And I'm sorry for those of you, maybe we should get a little bit more light in there. Alright, now we've got better lighting. I hate using LED lights because they leave that wavy pattern on these cameras. Okay, so if you look in there, you're going to see down in there, hopefully we can see that. That's the actual motor that comes off, or the gears that come off the motor, right there. that dark color. And you'll see right there is that small gear right there that I had before. That connects to this gear on the motor, which then connects to all of this. So as this gear off the motor turns, it turns this smaller gear, which then turns on this plastic housing here, right there, which then gives its motion to turn in reducing its speed, and then turns that bigger gear on the inside, which then turns the trip in the odometer. Now the problem I'm having here is that I've replaced, here I'm going to go ahead and push this a little bit back the way it was. We'll screw it down. I've replaced this gear. Now I thought the gear was broke, but I think what I ended up doing by messing with it and manually turning things, making sure that they were going correctly, I think I ended up stripping that side of the gear out. So I replaced the gear, but I didn't realize that I stripped it out until where I was done. Until I was done. Got in the car, put it back in the car, didn't put the dash together, I just put it back in the car, went around the block, didn't work. So I did this 3 different times, and before the car was random in how it worked. Sometimes the odometer would start counting and sometimes it wouldn't. So this made sense that, oh man, maybe this gear is catching every now and that's why it's causing. But after doing all this messing around, I've come to realize it's something else. So this did start working last night and then stopped like it normally does. So at least I know that I have got it put back together correctly. You can kind of almost see that blue hue that lights up in the dash. Yeah, right there. Anyway, so I thought, okay, well, I need to change and even though the research I did online said that if your odometer is working, if your speedometer is working but your odometer isn't, it's not the speed sensor that comes off the transmission on this car. Well, being as that nothing seems to be normal for me, right down to how this gauge works, I went to the store and bought a new speed sensor today, put it on the car. I can show a video on that, but it went really, really smooth. And I didn't break anything or mess anything up. The speedometer still works, but my odometer still does not work. I personally think it has to do with this motor. Let's set this down in a way that I don't mess it up. I don't know if this computer board is bad. I don't know if this motor is bad. There's see those blue wires? You can only pull this out so far. I'm not going to pull it out anymore because I don't want to mess the gears up, like I've said 10 times already. But those blue wires, one of them goes, actually they both go under there, and one allows you to kind of move that out, but the other one makes it so it's not. You have like no give. And then this wire running across here also, you have to kind of pull it down from this clip, and that will free it up. Looking online, there's places that repair these things locally for me, but it's an hour's drive, and I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to deal with it. Anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. If anybody has had this issue or knows how to fix this, I'm all ears. Thank you. And to show how random it is, look what's turning. Put the whole car back together. So the dash and there it goes, just ticking away. You can see it in the trip. The odometer actually turned, but we're going to Go around the block. And see if it keeps turning. I sometimes wonder if it might have to do with the temperature outside, because it's been cooler. But today the sun is out, but it's one of those deceiving days where it's still a little cool, but no, it's still going. You know, what's really sucky about this is that a car's value, among many things, is also tied to the odometer. And I'm proud of many of my old cars that have low miles. And this car, to my best calculation, is about 600 miles off, even though it has been not turning since last year. I don't drive the car a lot, but nonetheless, it's still annoying. I want it to reflect accurately. So anyway, this is the longest it's gone, and I've driven it probably 400 miles of those 600 miles just this year. And this is the longest it's ticked just during this video. So we're doing good. I don't know if I fixed it or if she's just in a good mood. Thanks.